Om Tadparam Paryaya Vidmahe Jnanalingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tanno Guruh Prachodayate Om Om Yoga Maharishi Dr. Swami Gita Anandagiri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Puduvai Kalaimamani Puduvai Shakti Yogacharya Ammaji Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani Guru Mata Ki Jai. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Namaste, Vanakkam, Swagatam, Shubdinam, Bonjour, Buongiorno, Buonasera, Bono Notte, Huyamure, Borida, Kiora, Salamat Pagi, Ayu Bovan, Ayushman Baba, Shubdinam, Suprapad. Yes, I am live on Facebook today and hoping to share with all of my dear Vishwa Yoga Parivar, my worldwide yoga family, some information on the Yoga Chikitsa recognitions that are being offered by the Indian Yoga Association. If you have any questions, you can please type it down in the chat box and I will try to answer them as we go on. But first and foremost, the Indian Yoga Association for the last 16 years has been functioning as one integrated unit where all the preeminent yoga traditions can come together. All the major yoga traditions of India are part of the Indian Yoga Association, and currently our chairperson of the governing council is the most respected Sri Ravi Shankar Gurudev Ji, and our current president of the executive council is our beloved and most respected Ma Hansaji Jaidev Yogendra. We are currently spearheaded by the very dynamic energy of my dear Subodh Tiwari Ji. The Indian Yoga Association aims to set standards for yoga worldwide, and one of the multiple activities of the IYA has been to try to set standards for Yoga Chikitsa, which is the application of yoga as a therapy. We must always remember Yoga Chikitsa is not Asana Chikitsa. It is not body work, breath work and mind work alone. So Yoga Chikitsa is a whole person approach. It's a holistic approach. And this holistic whole person approach utilizes the principles and the practices of yoga. So the philosophical aspects, the psychological aspects, the spiritual aspects, as well as the physical and physiological aspects of yoga are utilized to substantiate the healing response in all the care seekers who come seeking care from a yoga therapist. This is why IYA has a standing accreditation and academic committee, and that committee has a subcommittee which is on yoga therapy. And yours truly, yes, Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani is the chairperson of the yoga therapy subcommittee. We are being guided, mentored by one of the living legends, Yogacharya, Yoga Chikitsa Ratna, Sridharan sir, who is a direct disciple of the one and only Sri TKV Deshikacharya sir and the father of modern yoga and modern yoga therapy, the great Yogacharya Krishnamacharya ji. IYA is currently offering multiple levels of recognition. I would like to clarify that this is recognition, not certification. Already the Government of India, through its Ministry of Ayush, is offering various certification levels from level 1 to 7, where people can take up a certification examination that involves theoretical and practical aspects, and you can get certified as a common yoga protocol instructor, a yoga teacher and evaluator, a yoga master. All of those certifications exist through the Yoga Certification Board of the Ministry of Ayush. So we are not competing with that, we are not creating something different as a challenge to it. We are supporting the Ministry of Ayush and the YCB. However, we felt there is a need for recognition to be given in the field of Yoga Chikitsa. What is the difference? The certification has been developed based on one examination. However, the IYA recognition is not based on an examination, it is based on documentation. So when people apply to IYA for the various levels of recognition in Yoga Chikitsa, we want to know from them, what is your training in yoga and yoga therapy? How many years, how many months, how many hours have you done your training? With whom have you done that training? This is very important. Has that training been done in person, online, by correspondence? So the training component, we would like that all our Yoga Chikitsa, even at the fundamental level, which is the Sahayaka, which could be translated as a yoga therapy assistant or assistant yoga therapist. Yoga Chikitsa Sahayaka. The base level, the entry level is that of a minimum of 1,000 hours of training in yoga and yoga therapy that has been documented and is recommended by the member institute of IYA or the associate center who has trained that individual. So you should be in good standing with the institution with whom you trained also. They need to recommend you. We need to know that yes, they are willing to say this person has trained in Yoga Chikitsa with us. We believe all our member institutions 100%. Now what we have also done currently is that we have developed, our committee has developed a syllabus that is getting submitted to the Executive Council of IYA very soon. And this syllabus is going to be a syllabus that can be taken up by different member institutions and associate centers. And if a person completes that syllabus, at least 80%, we give leeway for different traditions because IYA respects all traditions. But if the person is completing that syllabus through one of the institutions, from next year onwards, they will automatically get recognized as a Yoga Chikitsa Sahayaka, which is an assistant yoga therapist, which is our base level of entry. Now yes, you have training in yoga therapy, all of this has to be documented. So we want documentation of your training in yoga therapy and yoga, recommendation from the institution who trained you, and this documentation gives you the Yoga Chikitsa Sahayaka. Now what if you already are practicing yoga therapy? Well, you could try to then apply for what is called Yoga Chikitsaka, which is loosely translated as a yoga therapist. So this is Yoga Chikitsa Sahayaka. So 1,000 hours documentation, letter of recommendation as in Sahayaka, plus a minimum of 3 years of practice of yoga therapy in the field. Again, documented. So we want documentation of the type of patients you have been dealing with, the type of care seekers, how many people have you dealt with, What are some of your success and failure stories? What is the feedback from your participants? All of this documentation that shows that in a period of more than 3 years, you have been in the field and actually practicing yoga therapy. If this documentation is submitted, then yes, our screening committee, we have a screening committee, and that screening committee will first look at all the applications. And Yoga Chikitsa Acharya Janakiramanji of the Krishnamacharya tradition is currently chairperson of our screening committee. And we have 7 members in that committee. Plus, as the chairperson of the therapy subcommittee, I am also part of it. The screening committee evaluates the documentation, and if documentation is adequate, we then recommend as a Yoga Chikitsaka. If not, we suggest there is not enough documentation, you have the training, maybe you can apply as a Sahayaka. So these are the methodologies that are applied here. Now yes, you have the training, and now you have more than 10 years of experience in the field. Again documented. Remember, it is documentation for recognition, not an examination for certification. So documented minimum 10 years of being in the field, documented work with patients, clients, care seekers, and you should be training future yoga therapists. Again documented. Are you running a training program, or are you teaching, or are you leading, mentoring a training program? Again documenting how many people, what type of training are you doing, what type of therapists are being produced, how many have been produced, some documentation of all of this. If you have, we recognize you as a Yoga Chikitsa Acharya. This is someone who is like a consultant in the sense of they are able to have the experience of 10 years of being in the field. So it is of great value to the care seeker. They are mentoring others, and because of that mentoring, they are an Acharya. So the entry level, Yoga Chikitsa Sahayaka. The second, after 3 years of experience, again documented, Yoga Chikitsaka. 10 years of experience in the field and training, mentoring yoga therapists through either your own program or other programs that may be academic or non-academic. You become a Yoga Chikitsa Acharya. Now, over the years, there are many pioneers who for decades and decades have been serving the cause of yoga as a therapy. I would like to remind everyone, it is a Yoga Chikitsa recognition, not a recognition of yoga. So, there are many people who have been practicing yoga, teaching yoga. Yes, we acknowledge you. But this recognition is very specific for therapy work. So there should be documentation. You should have published in yoga therapy. Again, general yoga publications are different. It is very important that the documentation, yes Neeru, the documentation should be some sort of feedback from participants. So at least some examples of people saying, yes, such and such person has given me yoga therapy and this is the result of it. So we would like to know the impact the yoga therapist has had. So this is not just someone claiming, yes, I am the best, so give me the recognition. It is absolutely based on documentation. And again, an important aspect of this documentation is that the institution that is trained should be willing to recommend the person. So the institution, we take the institutional recommendation very seriously, because yoga is a living tradition of great parampara. So that parampara where the person has trained should be able to say that yes, we will vouch for this person. And this is the difference between a certification exam and a recognition, where we are looking at documentation, we are looking at the tradition to which that person belongs and whether the tradition is continuing through them. Because the Bharatiya Parampara, our Indian traditions, are living traditions of yoga, constantly evolving, constantly developing a new avenue. So if somebody has trained with us in the Gitananda tradition, we should be giving a recommendation that so and so has trained with us, they are a competent yoga therapist, and yes, we are aware of the work they are doing. Similarly, be it Kaivalya Dharma, S. Vyasa Yoga Institute, or whoever it may be, the Krishnamacharya yoga tradition, we would like that type of, commitment from the individual and institutions and traditions to be there. But people who have served for many, many decades, pioneers, leaders, well, IYA has been recognizing such eminent, preeminent Yoga Chikitsa Acharyas as Ratnas. They are the jewels, the gems of Yoga Chikitsa. And as many of you may be knowing, for the past 12 months, IYA has been conducting a cycle program, continuous Yoga Chikitsa learning and educational program, CYCLE. So C for the Chikitsa. Chikitsa cycle, continuous Yoga Chikitsa, CYC, continuous Yoga Chikitsa learning and education. So cycle program. And last year in 2024 we had 11 sessions by our Ratnas, and every month on the first Sunday this session is being conducted. All IYA members are invited to join this and benefit. Last year I benefited so much from those 11 sessions, and this year 2025 it was kick-started by a marvelous session by Yoga Chikitsa Acharya Dr. Ganesh Rauji. Amazing, beautiful session. And so now 12 sessions have been continued, and all the recordings are available. So when you join this program, even now, you will have access to the previous 12, even if you join from this month onwards. The aim of the cycle program, which will go on for anything between 3 to 5 years depending on response, is to create a knowledge base of Yoga Chikitsa, where all these amazing Ratnas and Acharyas, we have the wisdom in one place. Because it is not just getting a recognition once, it is about constantly growing. Because we need to have that learner's attitude. That is the only way we can actually grow as a human being, and well, as a Yogacharya, Yoga Chikitsa Acharya, we need to constantly reinvent ourselves. We have to constantly be in the process of Tapaswadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhana, a Kriya Yoga of the self. And so the cycle program is supporting that. All of this, what is the fundamental aspiration behind it? Well, as the chairperson of the Yoga Therapy Subcommittee, the aspiration is that the Indian standard of Yoga Chikitsa should be the platinum standard for the whole world. And this is what we are working towards. That it is not just about passing an exam, it is about experience. Because yoga is an Anubhuti Shastra, it's an experiential science. And without experience, we cannot grow in it. And before I sign off for today, I would also like to remind all of us that as a yoga therapist, it is very important. It is very, very important that we are maintaining our own personal sadhana. Now, yoga sadhana can be of multiple forms. It can be a Raja Yoga sadhana, Jnana Yoga sadhana, Karma Yoga sadhana, Bhakti Yoga sadhana. We have our Sububhaya online. Bhakti Yoga sadhana is an important sadhana. Karma Yoga sadhana. So not only Surya Namaskar every day. That is also good. But please remember, as a yoga therapist, it is so important that we maintain our own personal sadhana, because only when we experience yoga as yoga, only when we experience it can we share it with others. And then we will be a true Yoga Chikitsaka, Chikitsa Sahayaka, Acharya, or in time to come, maybe even a Ratna. Thank you everyone who's joined me for this live program. We'll also be broadcasting it as a recorded version later. But I just felt it is important to share with my worldwide yoga family the opportunities for this recognition. 2025 is going to be the last 12 months of the recognition for Sahayaka by this process. Once the syllabus has been approved by our committees, institutions that take up the syllabus of IYA, automatically their graduates will be eligible to be recognized as Yoga Chikitsa Sahayaka. So we will not be considering the grandparenting process that is going on now for even Sahayaka. And then after that, the only clarifications that will happen will be when people have to come back for, upgradation as Chikitsaka, Chikitsa, Acharya, which will be done by the screening committee at regular times. We are conducting this screening committee member meetings 4 times a year. So applications are now open. Anybody who wishes to be part of this process, do submit your application to the IBA office. The next meeting will be held in the first week of April. So don't miss out on this opportunity. You can see the list of people who already have these recognitions on the IYA website. Let us all have a great day together, and may we always be worthy of our great mother Yoga and her blessings. Hari Om Tat Sat.